Trump tariffs versus BRICS bloc. India-US trade talks paused. BRICS nation unite against Trump. Russia, Brazil, China back India. Prime Minister to visit China for SCO summit. Countering Trump brick by brick. That is our top focus on 5 Live.
Good evening and welcome to 5 Live. I'm Pooja, Shali. Thank you for tuning in. Now, while the world is talking about what Trump is up to, especially with regard to tariff, I'm going to tell you in this bulletin what India is up to vis-a-vis Russia and China. Are we looking at a new global order? As US President Donald Trump's tariff tyranny continues, Prime Minister Modi is also stepping up engagement on the side with fellow BRICS nations. He's soon set to meet the Chinese premier at the SCO summit. Now, this could be the first step, as is being seen by the experts, toward pushing back against what many are now calling a bully Trump. Can the group break Trump and his rhetorics brick by brick, so to say? In the special report, let's take a look of how BRICS is where our eyes will be.
There's no let-up in the tension between India and the United States over tariffs. After President Donald Trump imposed additional 25% tariffs on India, taking the total levy to 50%, India is now exploring all other avenues. New Delhi has a series of meetings lined up with leaders of BRICS nations. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Brazilian President Lula da Silva spoke over the phone on Thursday. Brazil confirmed tariffs, trade and other global issues were discussed by the two leaders. Trump, incidentally, has imposed the highest US tariffs in the world on India and Brazil at 50% each.
Você sabe por que eu entrei no sindicato? Porque trabalhador sozinho.
What President Trump is doing is tacit. He wants to dismantle multilateralism, where agreements are made collectively within institutions, and replace it with unilateralism, where he negotiates one-on-one with other countries.
Coletivamente.
I just want to warn Trump that tariffs will not lead anywhere. Things will become more expensive for the Brazilian people. Things will become more expensive for the American people. Things will become more expensive for the world.
Em que ele negocia sozinho com outro país.
Trata-se da mais alta distinção.
Brazil's open support for India comes just ahead of the Prime Minister's visit to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization summit. The PM is also likely to hold bilateral ties with Chinese President Xi Jinping. Meanwhile, National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met Russian President Vladimir Putin on Thursday. President Putin himself is expected to visit India sometime this year. These developments come at a time when Trump has said that he wants the dispute over tariffs resolved.
Do you expect increased trade negotiations, since you've announced the 50% tariff?
No, not until we get it resolved.
And it's been reported that Indian Prime Minister Modi is set to visit China for the first time in 7 years. And Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi has criticized the US tariffs imposed on countries including Brazil and India. So are you concerned that China and other BRICS countries are trying to take the lead in organizing a kind of pushback against US trade measures?
Well, what I can say in terms of India is the president has been very clear in terms of the concerns he has regarding the trade imbalance, regarding the concerns he has when it comes to the purchase of Russian oil.
As the trade war rages on, the BRICS bloc is resisting Trump's unreasonable tariff tyranny. Bureau Report, India Today.
Is the tide turning? It's a big statement that has come in from China vis-a-vis India. China welcoming Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to China for the Shanghai Cooperation Organization. This is the Tianjin summit supported, I'm going to now quote from the statement from China's foreign ministry. China welcomes Prime Minister Modi to China for the SCO summit. We believe that with the concerted effort of all parties, the Tianjin summit will be a gathering of solidarity, friendship and fruitful results. SCO will enter a new stage of high-quality development and, of course, featuring these top leaders. So that's the big statement that has come in from Chinese Foreign Ministry, saying not only welcoming Prime Minister Modi, but believing that a gathering of solidarity, listen to the words, gathering of solidarity, friendship and fruitful results. Remember, China also did face a certain high tariff threat, even though it was eventually pulled back. Russia is facing threats and sanctions. And then, of course, now India, first with 25% and an additional 25% tariff being imposed. India Today's editor, India Today Global, Pranay Upadhyay joins me for the latest on that. Pranay, how should one look at China's foreign ministry statement? We may not be able to trust them fully, but do you think it's about a tide turning, possibly against Trump?
China might be trying to have an exhibition of solidarity. China might be trying to, express solidarity with India on this tariff sanctions by U.S. President Donald Trump. But on the other side, look, we also have to look at the fact that, China is also dealing with the United States. And you have heard U.S. President Donald Trump saying that his talks with China are progressing well. On 31st of July, the reciprocal tariff list, which was issued by the White House, doesn't mention about China. So nobody knows how much tariffs they are paying right now. So it sounds, easy to hear that they are expressing solidarity with India, but on the other side, yes, you rightly pointed out that we can't trust. And also, as far as this statement is concerned, that they are they want to welcome Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Yes, they are a host of Shanghai Cooperation Organization, and in Tianjin, the summit meeting is scheduled. In all likelihood, Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to travel to Tianjin. And this will be his first visit after 7 years, especially after the Galwan incident. So this visit, if happens, definitely China has expressed the intention that this visit is going to improve the bilateral relation between India and China. And definitely Prime Minister Narendra Modi will be visiting China after 7 years, because in last he visited pre-COVID and in April 2018, when he went to Wuhan. And then at that point of time, Chinese President Xi Jinping and Prime Minister Narendra Modi had an informal summit. So we do not know whether this time they will have an informal summit, or will we be reinstating the process or the engagement of informal summit between the two leaders. But yes, China, if you see the activities by the Chinese embassy in New Delhi, the Chinese Foreign Ministry statement, they are very actively reacting to what is happening between India and United States. So you have to take it with a pinch of salt.
USA, I'm sure, is also watching what is unfolding. Stay on with me, Pranay. I'll come back to you in just a short while, because we have some more news coming in. Let's take a look at this. This is what sources are telling India Today. What would be India's strategy specifically? Let's take a look at that. No decision on India-US defense deals after the tariff hike. The big scoop on India Today right now, we are telling you about the defense deals that India is planning with the USA. Could there be a pullback on that? The status quo on defense procurement is maintained. No decision on cancelling defense deals with America so far. And I say this because there had been a certain speculation in the last few hours, if not days, that India could pull back from certain big defense deals. No formal confirmation on Defense Minister's visit to America also, and that means for now the deals continue. My colleague Shivani Sharma joins me on that big breaking news. She's been closely tracking the defense sector. I believe that this is with the speculation for the Boeing and other defense deals as well, Shivani. What are you picking up about how and why for now India says we're keeping it on hold, it's maintained, the status quo is on, we're not cancelling it?
See, Pooja, what the sources have told India Today, specifically after these reports have been emerging and the speculations about a number of deals, including the P-8 ties for the Indian Navy that are on the table, including other deals that are also under planning. So what the sources have told India Today is that there is no reaction as of now from India when it comes to the defense deals. Whatever which was going on is still going on in the similar manner. So no decision has been taken, especially after Donald Trump has announced a high tariff against India. And defense deals are not impacted as of now. But yes, certainly the situation remains fluid. So India is not cancelling any deals that it was into with the United States. And remember, Pooja, there were a lot of speculations after US President Donald Trump had announced about these tariffs, especially when it comes to F-35 So let us clarify that there was no process into which India had proceeded when it comes to the F-35 procurement. There was no mention, there was no formal formulation on this deal, except for one mention when the president had mentioned when Prime Minister was there in the United States. Because, there is a proper structure, a proper process that is being followed when a weapon system or a platform or an aircraft is to be procured from another country. So when we did not get into any formal deals, there is no point of cancelling these. And besides this, there are a number of projects. There are still the negotiations are going on for. And I have been speaking and keeping a close track on this, especially after these reports have been coming.
And also, can India react in a haste right now, especially on some of the big deals that may benefit us eventually? Stay on with me, Shivani. I want to bring in Pranay also here. Pranay, I'm sure there's a lot of pressure on the Indian government, especially Prime Minister Modi, to act in a certain way so that we look like we're not intimidated by Donald Trump's antics and rhetoric. When it comes to defense deals, what are you picking up about India's strategy, and especially where Trump is going to pile on with more pressure?
Pooja, that the way US President Donald Trump pushed the envelope of F-35 fighter jets, though as Shivani rightly pointed out, that we have a well structured process to acquire any platform from any foreign vendor or from any foreign government. So obviously we are going to follow that process. But as far as the other platforms are concerned, we know for the fact that the additional order of P-8Is, the maritime reconnaissance aircraft, the upgrade order for C-17s, the additional order of C-130Js. So that was all scheduled, and also a big agreement for next 10 years to be signed between India and United States, which is a defense partnership agreement. So we do not know. There are no confirmation on that, because last time when Raksha Mantri Rajnath Singh had a phone call with his defense counterpart, his US counterpart Pete Hegseth, it was agreed that soon both countries are going to sign a defense partnership agreement for next 10 years. So we have to see that how that thing progress, because India and United States, they have the Defense Technology Initiative, DTTI, they have other spheres of defense partnership. We have for the Tejas program, we have engine deal which is there from the GE. So there are various aspects of it. We have to see that, are we putting all the defense acquisition from the United States on hold? That is going to be a very big thing, and that will have a very long-term
and I'm sure there are deliberations, discussions on
Pooja,
this.
Last few years,
go ahead, finish your point.
$24 billion worth of military hardware and defense equipments India has purchased from the United States. So we have to be mindful about those things, because you will be requiring the follow-on orders as well as the maintenance of those platforms.
All right, thank you very much, Shivani. For now, Pranay, please stay on with me. So remember that there will be a lot of issues on the sidelines as well. Trump, of course, is going on a rant on a daily basis. However, India will have to think through about how it wants to go at least across with the deals that will benefit us eventually. Now, the fact is that the United States of America is the world's largest economy right now. India is fourth largest economy of the world presently. How do we then counter Trump brick by brick? And I say that literally and of course with regard to the BRICS summit. Now, the economic diversification that hedges against US trade shocks and dollar risks. So this is where it comes in about India's strategy. There could be a multilateral leverage as well, boosting India's stature in the global south. So you see how there are countries in the global south of which India is being seen as the big voice. Autonomy in finance, building alternatives to dollar dependence. Now, this also ruffled feathers for the Trump administration. Is there another currency or a certain system financially that some of these countries in the BRICS are beginning to build? But there is need for caution. Avoid over-reliance on the BRICS, because there is, after all, China's influence that needs to be looked at. We know that China will like to become friendly with India in the next few years, especially with regard to how the global order is coming in. But we also know of its expansionist, aggressive nature, especially with our border issues. Pranay comes in here. Pranay, let's talk about that. We know that NSA is presently in Russia, met Vladimir Putin. We also understand Prime Minister's visit to China. How do you think this is going to become perhaps a new order? Do you see that? Do you think that is possible at this juncture? And how should India proceed really to at least counter the USA hegemony?
Pooja, I think India is going to continue the strategic autonomy of foreign policy, what we have been pursuing for last many years.
Yes.
Because for India, Russia is a privileged, special strategic partner. US is a comprehensive global strategic partner for, this may be a temporary phase between India-US relation. But as far as the investment in this relationship is concerned, both Democratic Party and Republican Party have invested in US, in India as well. The India-US partnership has enjoyed bipartisan support, be it UPA government or be it NDA government. So we have to navigate this situation. I do not see a realignment of Indian foreign policy, but yes, as far as the NSA Ajit Doval's visit to Moscow is concerned, Russian President Vladimir Putin is slated to visit India by the end of this year. And these are the preparatory meetings. This is a usual process. Indian Foreign Minister, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar is also scheduled to visit. I think later this month or early next month. He will also be visiting. And if Prime Minister travels, the indications we are getting is that he might also go to Japan, which is also a Quad partner for India. So India will always try and balance the relationship because we have long pursued the non-aligned movement, or like we are not in ally position or any one camp since from the Cold War era to this era of multipolarity. India is a strong advocate of multipolarity.
Cold War to multipolarity and how India will head here. Remember, India right now, not just about an independent nation, but fourth largest economy, and is building in itself the kind of Atmanirbhar Bharat that we are becoming, to have our own policy in place as well. Pranay, thank you very much. Appreciate you joining us for the latest on that. But here's the fact that has the Trump administration not really looked at? Tariff increased against India, sure. But doesn't that mean that it will also be a burden on American taxpayer? They will also have to empty their wallets when they buy Indian imports that come in. Textiles and clothing. The bilateral trade on this sector between India and the US in 2024-25 was about $10 billion. But the prices in USA may also surge up to 60% after the tariff is increased on Indian products. Carpet and furniture. Remember, some of these things are very crucial and not available in the market for America. The bilateral trade then was about $2.32 billion. Price may surge up to 50% again. The Americans will have to empty their wallet on that. Jewelry and gems, very crucial. Bilateral trade was about $12 billion in 2024-25 between India and the USA. Again, price may surge in the USA up to 52%. Machinery and electronics. Bilateral trade was about $9 billion between both nations. Again, 52% surge is expected in the USA when the products arrive. Organic chemicals. On that, the trade was about $2.34 billion. And again, there could be a surge in America to about 55%. Even shrimps, seafood. Bilateral trade was about $2.24 billion. Prices in the USA may surge up to 50%. So we are quoting from different sectors that there could be an increase on India products, with a kind of level of bilateral trade that happens when the products reach the USA. Will that hit the wallets of Americans as well? What are our top leaders saying? And these are, remember, exclusive conversations that have happened through the day. Listen in to Union Minister Nitin Gadkari about the imposition of additional taxes by Donald Trump, speaking to India Today television at the Business Today Summit.
आपने एक्सपोर्ट्स की बात की। आपको लगता है कि जो वर्तमान में निर्णय लिए गए हैं अमेरिका द्वारा, और उस पर अभी शायद चर्चा होनी बाकी है, इसका कोई दुष्प्रभाव पड़ेगा हमारी इकोनॉमी पे और हमारे एक्सपोर्ट्स पे?
देखिए, मैं आपको एक बात बताता हूँ। अमेरिका के निर्णय और पॉलिसी के बारे में टिप्पणी करने का मुझे अधिकार नहीं है, पर मैं आपको एक चीज़ बताता हूँ। मैं जब मंत्री बना तब हमारा हिंदुस्तान के ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर का नंबर 7वां नंबर था। अभी 6-7 महीने पहले हमने जापान को पीछे डालकर हम तीसरे नंबर पर आए। अमेरिका पहले नंबर पर है 78 लाख करोड़, दूसरे नंबर पर है चाइना 49 लाख करोड़, और हिंदुस्तान है 22 लाख करोड़। अब आपको इंटरेस्टिंग बात बताता हूँ कि हमारा ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर है वो 4.5 करोड़ युवाओं को उन्होंने जॉब दिया है और राज्य सरकार और भारत सरकार को जीएसटी के रूप में सबसे ज़्यादा रेवेन्यू देने वाला ये सेक्टर है। हमारे देश का सबसे ज़्यादा एक्सपोर्ट इस सेक्टर में है और हमारे टू व्हीलर इंडस्ट्री बजाज, टीवीएस, हीरो, होंडा ये 50% प्रोडक्शन एक्सपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। अभी मर्सिडीज़ के चेयरमैन एक आध महीना पहले मुझे मिले और अब इलेक्ट्रिक पर पूरा कन्वर्ट करें और उन्होंने कहा कि हिंदुस्तान में हम हमारा मैन्युफैक्चरिंग सेंटर कर रहे हैं। अभी मारुति सुजुकी उनकी गाड़ियाँ, यहाँ की टोयोटो, बाद में हुंडई, इनका बड़ा एक्सपोर्ट हो रहा है। अब इसमें बीच में एक बहुत बड़ा चेंज हुआ कि हमारे देश में इलेक्ट्रिक, इथेनॉल, मिथेनॉल, बायोडीजल, एलएनजी, सीएनजी और हाइड्रोजन अल्टरनेटिव फ्यूल और बायोफ्यूल में बड़ा काम हुआ। हमारे देश का इंपोर्ट है 22 लाख करोड़ का। अब ये जो नई टेक्नोलॉजी है उसका परिणाम क्या हुआ आप देखिए। आपको याद होगा क्योंकि आप 11 साल से मेरे अक्सर इंटरव्यू कर रहे हैं और यही आपके ही एक कार्यक्रम में ताज पैलेस में मुझे मेरे एक मित्र आज तक वालों ने पूछा था कि अगर इलेक्ट्रिक गाड़ी रास्ते में बंद पड़ेगी तो धक्का मारने के लिए आप आओगे क्या? तो अभी ये शुरुआत थी, उस समय लोगों के मन में कन्फ्यूजन था। अब इलेक्ट्रिक में इतना पॉपुलर हुआ कि इलेक्ट्रिक की वेटिंग लिस्ट है। इलेक्ट्रिक बसेस 50,000 बनती है देश में, रिक्वायरमेंट 1 लाख की है। इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रैक्टर, इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रक, अभी इलेक्ट्रिक ट्रक आ रहे हैं। अब सबसे अच्छी बात आपको बताता हूँ कि बैटरी केमिस्ट्री में लिथियम आयन बैटरी की कीमत जब हमने इलेक्ट्रिक व्हीकल शुरू किए तब $150 पर किलोवाट पर आवर थी और आज हमारे देश में वो कीमत $55 पर किलोवाट पर आवर हो गई। यानी इलेक्ट्रिक की बैटरी सस्ती हो गई। एक बस में 40 लाख रुपए की बैटरी लगती थी, अब आप समझिए कि 1/3 कीमत हो जाएगी। तो वो दिन अब दूर नहीं है कि पेट्रोल डीजल की व्हीकल और इलेक्ट्रिक की व्हीकल की प्राइस कम होगी। इसमें हाइड्रोजन भी पीछे से आ रहा है। अब इसमें बैटरी केमिस्ट्री में लिथियम आयन, जिंक आयन, एल्यूमिनियम आयन, सोडियम आयन, हमारे यंग लड़के इतना अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं कि इतने नए नए रिसर्च हो रहे हैं कि मैं ये मानता हूँ कि हमें वर्ल्ड का मार्केट उपलब्ध है। कोई 1-2 देश में थोड़ी उसके ऊपर हम डिपेंड है। हमारे पूरे अफ्रीकन कंट्री में हमारे टू व्हीलर पूरे जाते हैं, श्रीलंका में, बांग्लादेश में हमारे टू व्हीलर ट्रैक्टर जाते हैं। तो आने वाले समय में ऑटोमोबाइल सेक्टर में मैंने अभी कल ही मैं कंस्ट्रक्शन इक्विपमेंट वालों की कॉन्फ्रेंस में गया था और मैंने सब ओईएम को बुलाकर कहा कि आप सब लोगों के पीछे सरकार खड़ी है। दिक्कतें आती हैं, सेमीकंडक्टर में दिक्कतें आई तो हमने ये सारे स्कीम उसके लिए तैयार की। अब वो जहाँ दिक्कत भी, लिथियम आयन का प्रॉब्लम है, हमको 1200 टन लिथियम आयन लगता है। अभी नई माइनिंग पॉलिसी में आ रही, हम कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि हमारे माइनिंग मंत्री जी और प्रधानमंत्री जी ने उनको कहा है कि हम जल्द से जल्द ये कैसे मिला है, क्योंकि हमारे पास लिथियम है, हम लिथियम इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं, हमारे पास गोल्ड है, हम गोल्ड इंपोर्ट कर रहे हैं। तो हम अपने देश को आत्मनिर्भर बनाने के लिए गतिशीलता के साथ जल्दी माइनिंग शुरू करें। और ये 1200 टन लिथियम जो लगता है, अभी ज़्यादा लगेगा और तो ये हमारे देश में तैयार होगा। तो मुझे ऐसा लगता है हर क्षेत्र में, मैं ऑटोमोबाइल का मेरे से संबंध है इसलिए मैं आपको बता रहा हूँ। हाइड्रोजन में हमारे फ्लेक्स इंजन की गाड़ी में मैं आया बैठकर आपके होटल में भी, वो वर्ल्ड की पहली इनोवा गाड़ी है, नीचे में खड़ी है, जो 100% बायो इथेनॉल पे चलती है, 60% बिजली तैयार करती है और पेट्रोल की तुलना में उसकी एवरेज की तुलना करेंगे तो 25 रुपीज़ लीटर पेट्रोल का भाव होगा। यानी कंज्यूमर का फ़ायदा है, प्रदूषण की कमी है, इंपोर्ट की कमी है, किसानों का फ़ायदा है। तो ओवरऑल हमारे इसमें जो इस प्रकार से देश आगे निकल रहा है, मुझे लगता है कि पूरी दुनिया का मार्केट हमारे लिए है और हमें ये क्षमता है कि दुनिया में अच्छे से अच्छी क्वालिटी और कम से कम कॉस्ट में देने की क्षमता बहुत कम 1-2 देशों में है, पर उन देशों में भारत अब सबसे आगे जाएगा और वर्ल्ड का मार्केट हमको मिलेगा और हमारी इकोनॉमी आने वाले समय में मजबूत बनेगी, ये मेरा विश्वास है। ये आपने
So stay tuned. Through the evening, we are going to bring you important exclusive conversations with top leaders and, of course, the business honchos. India Today's consulting editor Rajdeep Sardesai meanwhile spoke exclusively to Congress Tirunanthapuram MP Shashi Tharoor, who also led the diplomatic delegation to the USA on Trump tariffs and how India should deal with the United States of America. Listen into this exclusive candid conversation.
Shashi Tharoor, senior Congress MP and chairperson of the Standing Committee on External Affairs. Appreciate your joining us, Dr. Tharoor. You've taken a very strong stand on what America has done. You seem to suggest that if the United States puts 50% tariffs on India, India should retaliate with equal tariffs on the United States. Do you want to explain your position, Dr. Tharoor?
Well, I mean, Mr. Trump likes to speak about reciprocal tariffs. That is reciprocity. So if indeed on the 27th of August, 50% kicks in, I see absolutely no reason why India should not insist on reciprocity. That's the principle that's involved. But that's a subsidiary point, Rajdeep. There's still 3 weeks to go almost. And we need to put those 3 weeks to good use by negotiating effectively, which I believe our negotiators are going to do. But we'll have to do this obviously with a certain amount of, shall we put it bluntly, a certain amount of resolve that if necessary, we're going to have to walk away. We are simply far too proud and independent a country to be allowing ourselves to be subject to being browbeaten or bullied by anybody. And as far as I'm concerned, these may be merely idiosyncratic negotiating tactics. You all know that Mr. Trump has a reputation for clinching deals in somewhat unusual ways. And this may merely be a way of putting pressure on us. But nonetheless, the way it was done was demeaning and belittling with the kind of language used. Secondly, it was unfair because now we have even China, which buys far more oil and gas and has a far bigger trade relationship with the US, with the Russians. China is going to be at 30% on the 27th of August, and we're going to be at 50%. So, I mean, it's just completely upending the entire notion of a strategic relationship with India versus a competitive rivalry with China. To my mind, if Mr. Trump can cast us so lightly to the winds, then we do have some serious rethinking to do as a country.
There are two parts from what you've said that I want to come to one by one. The first is you seem to suggest retaliatory tariffs as a way to sort of look up and stand up to the bully. Now, I've spoken to a number of economists who are saying we don't need to get into a tariff war. Let's keep the temperature down. Let's cool things down. Do you agree that that could be one way to do things? Because the moment you get into retaliatory tariffs, then you're getting into a tariff war that can spiral out of control. So that's the first part that I want to ask you.
Radeep, okay, so on that, let me say, first of all, I'm not suggesting any immediate reaction. I'm not even suggesting that we should immediately announce anything. All I'm saying is that when the 27th of August comes, if we are literally one of 2 countries on the entire planet that's paying 50%, you can be pretty sure that the bottom is going to drop out of our exports to America anyway. Because how many people who are importing Indian goods in America are going to be prepared to pay a 50% premium when our competitors, including Vietnam, Indonesia, even Pakistan and Bangladesh, are 20% or lower, 19% in some cases, 15% in some. So why would anyone buy anything from India at that point if we are at 50? So in any case, at that point, I think we should make it very clear that if you do this to us, we will do it to you. If we don't, we are essentially, what is the point of being cool when you've got a 50% tariff on you?
I now take you back to the Business Today summit titled India's Future, regarding how US President Donald Trump also took the dead economy dig at India after slapping the 25% tariff. Here's what former Niti Aayog CEO Amitabh Kant had to say on this exclusive conversation at the summit.
You know, you have spent a lifetime in government. You also organized the G20 summit. You led that massively successful event. What went wrong from that high of India's diplomacy at the global stage to this low of President Trump unfairly calling India a dead economy?
So first of all, let me put some facts before your audience. India is anything but a dead economy because India is the fastest growing large economy. We are the fourth largest economy in the world. We will shortly be the third largest economy in the world. More than anything else, India has carried out very major structural reforms in its economy. The goods and services tax, IBC, etc. We've also digitized our economy enormously. We've been building our infrastructure in a very big way, which no other country has done in terms of housing, toilets, providing electricity connection to our citizens, water connection for our citizens, plus building about 88,000 kilometers of road. No other country has done that in recent times. We've also gone green in a very big way. No other country in the world has a digital identity for its 1.5 billion people, plus the highest number of fast payments that we do. We do about 45% of the real-time fast payments in the world. So there's been a huge, huge impetus to growth. So we are anything but a dead economy. So I think, to my mind, it's not that India misread Trump, but I think Trump has misread India. And I think in the long run, the second point I want to say is that actually, if you look at free trade, the biggest beneficiary of free trade has been the United States of America. It controls 26% of the global GDP. It has 48% of the market capitalization with 4% of the population. So if anyone has benefited from free trade from the existing world order, is the United States of America. It's moved on from traditional manufacturing to a post-industrial society. And therefore, it's become an innovative society which has been driving growth through research and development. But it's been a very, very big beneficiary. All its companies have been very big beneficiary of free trade.
Also remember, the pharma and agriculture sector, especially dairy, have been kept out of Trump tariffs. Former Deputy Chairperson of Planning Commission Montek Singh Ahluwalia believes India will do everything to protect, especially its agriculture sector. Let's listen into this.
Dr. Ahluwalia, the Prime Minister in particular has drawn a red line. He said that I will do whatever it takes to protect the interests of Indian farmers. Now, one of the big sticking points for a full-blown trade deal with the United States could well be in areas of agriculture and dairying. Do you agree that given the state of our economy, given the fact that the farmers constitute a major constituency in this country, we will always need an element of protectionism for our agriculture and dairying sector?
I think, look, in every country, agriculture and farmers are politically very special. So I think the idea, if you're going to do reforms, I think there are a lot of reforms needed in agriculture. But I think you should not be doing reforms in agriculture seeing to be pushed by others. There are reforms, you should develop a consensus within. It would not surprise me at all if I hope our negotiators are telling our other side that, look, agriculture is a sensitive subject. Nothing is ever written in stone, but this is not something that should be done as a result of trade negotiation. Now, you know, there are always little things you can do because we do allow some agricultural imports. But the basic agricultural issues, including, I think, things like, let's say, allowing GM food. Now, you know, at the moment, we're not allowing Indian farmers to benefit from GM technology because we haven't made up our mind. So how do you concede allowing import of GM foods from outside if you're not allowing it to be done inside?
But I've heard many economic commentators say that agricultural reform is necessary. And yet, when the Prime Minister pushed ahead a few years ago with farm laws, he met with a backlash that eventually forced him to push back on those same reforms. So, is part of the challenge even now to build that political consensus first and then go ahead with the reform? Even in 1991, you didn't have a political consensus when you went ahead with the reforms. So what comes first, reforms and then political consensus?
Or do you build a political consensus and then go ahead with your reform?
No, it's quite clear that nothing ever gets done simply in abstraction, okay? So where there are political problems, you need to work in advance towards solving those problems. I think we've left too many things in agriculture somehow outside discussion. And I think we need to have an internal discussion on that. I don't somehow think that these are areas which are best pushed through trade negotiations. In the trade area, there are other things we can negotiate, and that's where we should concentrate on.
A cold-blooded murder in the heart of Delhi has sent shockwaves across the national capital. Actress Huma Qureshi's cousin Asif Qureshi, a resident of the Nizamuddin area, was brutally stabbed to death by two brothers. The accused name have surfaced, Ujjwal and Gautam, after a heated argument over parking. A petty issue, really. Now, according to the deceased's wife and eyewitnesses, this scuffle began. Visuals on your screen, look at that. Asif Qureshi asked for one of the two-wheelers parked right outside his house to be moved away. The minor scuffle, war of words, quickly turned deadly. 11 p.m. Thursday night, these two young men, and when I say young men, literally teenagers, the brothers launched a sudden and violent attack, stabbing Asif Qureshi with a sharp weapon. He was rushed to hospital by the onlookers but was declared dead on arrival. Police have arrested both accused, Ujjwal and Gautam. One of them reportedly even a history sheeter. Over an issue of parking now, people are getting killed.
सर क्या हुआ था, कितना बज रहा था उस वक्त, टाइम क्या हो रहा था और आपने क्या देखा?
टाइम हो रहा था ये 10:50 और 10:40 थे उस समय। तो ये स्कूटी के ऊपर झगड़ा हुआ था भाई। इस बात पे वो लड़के ने दोनों ने गाली गुफ्तार करते हुए चले गए। जिसने आसिफ ने पी रखी थी उसने बोला भी गाली मत दे, तेरे भी तो माँ बहन है भाई। इसी बात पे बात बिगड़ती चली गई। वो गाली देता रहा, वो आसिफ उसके घर तक चला गया। जैसे ये कोने पे ही घर है इसका, वो लड़का आया छोटा वाला, दोनों के दोनों चिपट गए। मैं यहाँ से भाग के गया रोटी खाता हुआ छोड़ के, वो छोटे वाले लड़के को धक्का दिया। मैंने कहा यार क्यों चिपट रहे हो तुम दोनों के दोनों, गुत्थे मराई हो रही थी भाई। इतनी बात हुई थी, बड़े वाले ने एक छाती पे उसके ईंट मारी और उसके बाद में छोटे वाले ने पता नहीं क्या मारा क्या नहीं मारा, उसके यहाँ 2 सुराख हो गए। उससे है ना डेड हो गए उसकी।
हम लोग बाहर से शॉपिंग करके आए थे, यहाँ पर हमारे गेट पे गाड़ी लगा दी थी। तो मेरे हस्बैंड ने कहा मेरी वाइफ को निकलने बढ़ने में प्रॉब्लम होगी, उसके रॉड डली हुई है, तुम गाड़ी आगे लगा लो। तो वो एकदम अपना सामान रख के आया, कह रहा तू बड़ा चौधरी बन रहा है, ऊपर से कुछ खंजर वगैरह लेकर आया। आसिफ को उसने एकदम वार करा। जैसे ही मैं आगे तक गई तो मुझे धक्का दिया उन लोगों ने। उसकी बहन ऊपर रहती है शैली, उसने कहा कि मारो इसको, पकड़ लो। दोनों भाइयों ने उसके ऊपर ऐसे सेल उठा के मारी सीने पे, उसके ब्लीडिंग स्टार्ट हो गई आसिफ के। मैंने अपने देवर को कॉल करके बुलाया कि हम लोगों को इन लोगों ने जानलेवा हमला करा है। वो जैसे आए हम हॉस्पिटल गए हैं, ईस्ट ऑफ कैलाश हार्ट इंस्टीट्यूट, तो उनकी ऑन द स्पॉट उनकी डेथ हो चुकी थी आसिफ की। हमारा इनसे कोई रिलेशन नहीं है। इन्होंने पहले भी नवंबर में हमारे ऊपर जानलेवा हमला करा था, हमारे घर के अंदर घुस के।
मेरे भाई यहाँ पर झगड़ा हुआ था कि ऐसे ऐसे पड़ा हुआ, इनको मार दिया बहुत जोर की। तो मैं फौरन जब भी वहाँ से निकलकर एकदम अपनी दुकान छोड़कर सीधा इधर आ गया। कुछ सोना टाइप का था उनके हाथ में, बस क्या बताऊँ। उसी छोटी सी पार्किंग की वजह से मेरे ये हत्या में हत्या कर दी गई है जानबूझ के। पहले भी उसका 2 बार थे, उससे लड़े गए वो यहाँ पर पार्किंग की वजह से।
मुझे तो फोन आया था कल, मैं अपने घर में था तो मुझे फोन आया कि ऐसे ऐसे एक स्कूटर खड़ा, गाड़ी खड़ी, स्कूटर खड़ा करने के ऊपर दरवाजे के आगे उसने स्कूटर लगा दिया। मेरे भतीजे ने कहा थोड़ा आगे कर ले भाई, दरवाजा तो छोड़ दे। तो इस बात पे लड़ाई दोनों में मैं हो गई। ये 2 लोग थे और इन्होंने मिलके और उसको मारा।
2 मिनट पहले मेरे बच्चे से खेल रहा था, इधर को गया, झगड़ा हो गया, इतनी देर में खत्म हो गया। आसिफ बहुत बढ़िया बच्चा था यार, 1.5 साल से हमारे पास रह रहा है, पता ही नहीं पड़ा झगड़ा हुआ क्या नहीं। मैं इधर हूँ, वो झगड़ा उधर हुआ कि झगड़ा होगा। मेरे देखो सोई आ रही है, चला नहीं जा रहा। इतने मैं पलंग से उतर के आई हूँ, इतना तो खत्म हो गया सब।
Meanwhile, what is the latest update from Uttarakhand? The flood-ravaged Dharali village, over 190 people have been rescued. It was a high-intensity operation, including Indian Armed Forces, NDRF, ITBP, other agencies. Remember, especially while there was rainfall also being reported from some areas. Army has established satellite and radio relay communication, allowing stranded civilians and tourists to connect with their family via the satellite internet. The rescued civilians wholeheartedly, of course, appreciating the life-saving operations as well by the armed forces and more. Amid all of this, remember, what you see are these timely operations. Time is the essence here to be able to rescue people as much as can.